2, 3, let's switch this up.
Hey guys, it's Gwyneth, and in today's video, I'm going to be ranking every single episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. If you didn't know, Buffy the Vampire Slayer is one of my favorite television shows ever, so in honor of that, I'm going to be ranking every single episode from the S superior tier to the F flop era tier. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so the first episode of Buffy ever is the pilot episode, Welcome to the Hellmouth. So for those of you unfamiliar with the show, I'm going to be reading the synopsis from IMDb and also explaining it a little bit in my own words, just so you can get more of a feel for the show if you haven't watched it. And if you haven't watched it, yeah, I highly recommend. It's on Hulu, Amazon Prime, and probably some other streaming services. I don't think it's on Netflix though, just if you were wondering. Yeah. So this video is probably gonna be broken up into like 2 or 3 parts because I think it'll take a long time to like go through the whole show because there's 7 seasons and 144 episodes in total. So I think it would be better to break it up. So in this video, I'm going to be ranking seasons 1 to 3. So yeah, without further ado, welcome to the Hellmouth. The synopsis of IMDb says, Buffy learns more about her role as a vampire slayer when she and her mother move to Sunnydale, where evil lurks in the community. Sunnydale is on top of a Hellmouth, the center of a mystical convergence that draws evil and demonic forces. Just because this is the show's first episode and there would literally be no Buffy without Welcome to the Hellmouth, I'm gonna have to be a little bit biased here and put it in the superior tier. Oh, and also, I'm going to be linking the creator of this tier maker down below because I didn't make this. But I think like if you scroll down, they have like a Reddit page that you could like follow or like just like give them credit and stuff. And they also like I think they shared a Google Drive folder of like all of these icons if you wanted to download them for some reason. So yeah, that's just a little side note. Okay, and then the next episode, which was actually aired on the same day as Welcome to the Hellmouth, March 10th, 1997. It reads, while Buffy learns about the awesome powers of the Master, she also must save Sunnydale from an onslaught of vampires. So this one to me kind of goes hand in hand with Welcome to the Hellmouth, so I'll have to also put this in the S superior tier. And then the next episode of Buffy is Witch, which reads, it's time for cheerleader trials and Buffy can't resist. However, when the girls start getting kicked out of the competition because of a variety of freak accidents, Buffy and the gang begin to suspect that someone may be using dark magic in order to make the squad. And the someone in question is a witch named Amy, who later becomes Willow's friend in the later seasons. Sorry for the spoilers, but yeah, she like they think that it's her, but it turns out to be her mom, who like kind of like really wanted to be a cheerleader when she was younger. So then she used her daughter to try to get on the cheer team. So yeah, I kind of love the themes of this episode and how it's kind of like the Texas cheerleader murders. If you ever watched that, it's basically like about like kind of like dance moms or cheer moms who are kind of like crazy and like want their kids to like want to live their dreams through their kids. So I think it's a very good episode of Buffy, but it's definitely not like the best episode of Buffy ever. So right now, I think I'm gonna put it in Buffy core. I don't know if I'm gonna change that, but Buffy core. If you didn't know, it just means like episodes to me that are quintessential Buffy, and I don't think you would see on like any other TV show. Okay, and then the next episode is Teacher's Pet. And the IMDb reads, Xander and most of the males at Sunnydale High School are desperately trying to impress the new substitute teacher, Miss French. However, when Buffy witnesses this femme fatale scare off a particularly nasty vampire, she begins to suspect that Xander may be in serious trouble. So this is, if you didn't know, a Xander-centric episode, which immediately makes it like one of my least favorite episodes. So I think for now, I'm going to be putting it in the maybe the D disappointing tier because it's just like pretty like pretty forgettable and like just like blah, and it's like it's just there. It's not really a good episode or a bad episode. It's just like boring and stuff. But yeah. Okay. So the next episode is Never Kill a Boy on the First Date, and I really love the play on words of this episode. Kind of like Never Kiss a Boy on the First Date. Um, yeah. So the IMDb synopsis says, yearning for a normal life, Buffy agrees to go out on a date with the mysterious and brooding Owen. Meanwhile, Giles discovers a prophecy of coming danger, which could interfere with her dating plans. But Buffy chooses Owen over battling with the forces of darkness. However, when Giles is trapped by a group of vampires, Buffy must figure out a way to balance dating and slaying. So this is very early on Buffy, so I think it was very experimental, and they were just trying different things, and they were just like throwing things at the wall and seeing what stuck. And to me, this did not really stick, but yeah, it's like it is what it is, and I love Buffy's episode outfits in this episode. And Owen is a pretty forgettable love interest, but it definitely sets the tone for the later episodes of Buffy. But right now, I'm gonna be putting it in the so bad it's good tier, but this may change. So the next episode of Buffy is The Pack, and the IMDb description says, it is up to Buffy, Giles, and Willow to figure out what is wrong with Xander when he exhibits strange behavior at the zoo. So this was actually filmed at the Santa Ana Zoo, which I think is pretty cool. But like the episode is pretty like unremarkable. It's just about like their school field trip and like them becoming like hyenas or like lizard, demon lizard hyenas or something. I really don't remember. It was like a pretty like forgettable episode to me, especially because it's very early experimental Buffy season 1, and it's also like a Xander centric episode, which already makes it one of like my least favorite episodes. Sorry for the. I'm gonna put it in flop era. So yeah. Okay, now we have Angel. Not to be mistaken for Angel the series, but this is Buffy season 1, episode 7. So the synopsis says, after he saves her from a gang of vampire warriors, Angel and Buffy's relationship grows. However, Angel's dark secret, which she has been hiding from Buffy, ends up hurting someone she loves. When Buffy finds out, her feelings are torn, but she then realizes what she has to do. Um, so I think this episode is a pretty iconic Buffy episode because it introduces us to one of Buffy's main love interest, Angel, who also gets a spin-off TV show a few years down the road after season 3. Oh, and also please let me know in the comments down below if you guys would like maybe Angel episodes ranking. There's only 5 seasons and 110 episodes, but that's still a lot. But like, I would love to know if you guys would want that. So yeah, just let me know in the comments down below. And I think I'm going to be putting Angel in the amazing tier just because, like, love Angel or hate him, like he's one of the most iconic characters in the Buffyverse, and like the Buffyverse wouldn't be the Buffyverse without Angel. So I just have to give it to him, you know. Okay, and the next episode is I Robot You Jane, which is a Willow centric episode, I believe. So the synopsis says Buffy and Giles face a demon spirit that has been trapped since the Dark Ages. Willow falls for a cyber beau whom she met online. I think the title is based on like a movie or something. Not sure, but yeah, it's basically about like Willow like meeting someone online, which is like really funny because it was filmed in 1997, which the internet wasn't as prevalent back then, so like online dating wasn't really a thing. So like her friends I kind of made fun of her for it, and then her love interest turned out to be like a evil demon robot type thing. But although like I appreciate what they were trying to do, I think it is a bit of a flop, and like the CGI in this episode was really bad. So for that, I'm gonna have to put it in flop era. Okay. And then the next episode is the puppet show. Uh, so the IMDb says Buffy sets out to catch a thief who steals human organs, while the principal forces Giles to run the school talent show. So this is like the school talent show that they have. And also a really memorable part for me in this episode was when Cordelia sings Greatest Love of All by Whitney Houston. Like rather badly, but I'm pretty sure Charisma is a good singer. It's just Joss or whoever probably wanted her to sing bad, like because that's part of her character. But yeah, this was a pretty entertaining episode to me, and I don't know if this was the one where Willow wore that geisha outfit. No, I think that was a different episode. Sorry, but um, yeah, I think it was a bit of a flop. Like they had like the whole like ventriloquist dummy. He turned out to be evil, and it was very like experimental Buffy. They were just like figuring things out, and they didn't exactly know what worked or what didn't. So yeah, I'm gonna put it in the disappointing tier. And the next episode of Buffy is Nightmares. Uh, the synopsis says people in Sunnydale begin living out their worst fears, including Xander, who comes to school in his underwear. Who comes to school in his underwear, and Giles, who discovers he can't read. So basically, it's like their worst fears come to life. And this is the one where Willow wears a geisha outfit. Oh, I thought it was the last episode. Sorry, it's been a while since I've watched Buffy, but it's still like one of my favorite TV shows ever. And also, this is the episode where Buffy becomes a vampire, which is so fun because like people who haven't watched the show might think that Buffy's a vampire for some reason, but she's not. She's literally a vampire slayer. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to put in the C or so bad it's good tier. Okay. And the next episode is Out of Mind, Out of Sight. And what I really like about this episode is like the play on words in the title. I know Buffy's like really known for doing that. Like the original phrase would be out of sight, out of mind, but like this is like kind of like turning the tables a little bit. So the IMDb says Buffy and Cordelia become allies to combat an invisible spirit, and Angel warns Giles that Buffy could be in danger. So this is also the episode with Clea Duvall, before she was like famous and everything. And like in this episode, she is like really shy, so much so that like she becomes invisible because no one even notices that she's there. And also like I love Clea Duvall in But I'm a Cheerleader. I feel like that's like the quintessential lesbian movie, and she's also in Girl Interrupted, and Happiest Season, that like lesbian rom com, and she's all that. The 1999 version. Well, yeah, yeah, I think she's so cool, and for that, I'm going to have to put it in the Buffy core. And also, like the main central part of this episode is like Buffy and Cordelia working together, and I really love their dynamic. Like I know they're kind of like opposites, but I think they kind of have that opposites attract thing going on, and like I think they would make great best friends or like even love interests. So yeah. And the next episode is Prophecy Girl, which is the last episode of Buffy season 1. So um it says Giles discovers an ancient prophecy that predicts a violent end for Buffy, and an army of demons attempt to bring about the end of the world. So this is like when Buffy has to face off with the Master, and then she ends up dying, but then like Xander brings her back to life and stuff. So this is the first time in the show that Buffy dies, and she also has that iconic yellow dress, and I think um, Sarah Michelle Gellar says that she still has a dress, which is really cool. It actually says so in my Buffy book. I can show you guys that later. Maybe I should do like a review or something of it. Okay. I think I'm gonna put it in the amazing tier because it's just that girl, you know? Like, it's iconic. Like, what would Buffy be without Prophecy Girl? It's like the first finale of Buffy ever. So yeah, it really made its mark on pop culture history. So then now we're on to season 2. And the next episode is When She Was Bad. So it says Xander and Willow worry about Buffy's behavior. Cordelia and Miss Calendar are kidnapped, and Buffy turns Angel away. This is just like setting up the show. And like yeah, and it's setting up the second season of Buffy, like finding out like who's the big bad gonna be and everything. And also, I think this is an episode where Buffy dances with Xander, which is in the credits, which is so weird. Like that's such a random moment on Buffy, but they put it like in the opening credits. I think right now I'm gonna put it in Buffy core because it's just quintessential Buffy. But to me, it doesn't really stand out too much. It's like it's there and it's cool, but it's not like my favorite episode ever. Okay, so the next episode is Some Assembly Required. Um, and the synopsis says Buffy discovers that body parts missing from girls' graves are being used to build the perfect woman. So basically, in this episode, I think Cordelia is almost like they want to use her parts to like build the perfect woman, which is like really creepy and stuff. And I love this episode because it's like a Cordelia centric episode. And I just love to see her shine. And also in this picture you see Angel and Cordelia, which is really cool because in Angel they kind of have like a like romance thing going on, and they're like one of my favorite couples on Angel. So I think although I love them, I don't think the episode itself is that interesting, like the plot and everything. It's kind of like forgettable and boring. So I'm gonna put it in the disappointing to you for now. Okay. And then the next episode is School Hard. It says Angel's former friends arrived in Sunnydale, and Buffy must shield her mother when a gang of vampires crash a parent-teacher night. So in this episode, we're introduced to Spike and Drusilla, which they're kind of like the Sid and Nancy, or like star-class lovers of it all. And they're like two iconic vampires in the Buffy lore. And this is like way before like Buffy and Angel have a romance and everything. Because like in this episode, Spike's supposed to be like evil. And I also love Buffy's blue crochet top in this episode, or like knit or whatever. It's like one of the most quintessential Buffy pieces to me. So I'm gonna put in the so bad it's good tier. But actually no, I think I'm gonna put in the amazing tier. Okay. So the next episode is Inca Mummy Girl. So it says Buffy and Giles become suspicious of a Peruvian exchange student whom Xander falls in love with. This is kind of like Teacher's Pet. It's like a Xander-centric episode where like Buffy Xander falls in love with like a female character who turns out to be evil. And in this like she is like actually like a like as the title would suggest, it Inca Mummy Girl, and like she like becomes all creepy because like she's a mummy and everything. So yeah, I think I don't know. Every Xander-centric episode to me is pretty forgettable. So then I put it in the flop era tier. And now we have Reptile Boy, and it says Buffy and Cordelia attend a fraternity bash where they are offered as human sacrifices to a half man, half snake creature. So, if you haven't listened to the Buffy and the Vampire Slayer podcast, I think this is the episode where they got the catchphrase "Smash the Demon Lizard Patriarchy," which is like pretty iconic to fans of their show. Like they have merch of it and everything. And for that, I think it's like one of the more iconic episodes. So I'm gonna put it in the so bad it's good tier. Okay. And then the next episode of Buffy is aptly titled Halloween. And it says on Halloween, Buffy, Willow, and Xander are volunteered by the principal to take groups of kids trick or treating, but there's trouble when everyone changes into their costumes. So basically, in this episode, like they all dress up in their costumes and then they become their costumes. So Buffy dresses up as like a 1800s or 1700s like damsel in distress, because like she thought that was like the kind of girl that Angel would like. And Willow dresses up as a ghost, so basically she like disappears. And she also has this cool like crop top outfit, but like I think like in the episode like she's like too insecure to wear it and stuff, so she doesn't become that, I don't think. And then I think Xander becomes a soldier. And the funny thing is like he knows all the like military like vocabulary and stuff, and like he retains the military knowledge like throughout the show. So that's like a cool plot point that is in Halloween that's used throughout the show. And for that, I think I'm gonna move School Hard up actually and put Halloween right here. Okay. And then the next episode is Lie to Me. So it says Buffy's fifth grade crush arrives in Sunnydale, intending to deliver her to Spike in exchange for the immortal life of a vampire. So Buffy's fifth grade crush is named like Jesse or something, I think. No. Yeah. No, his name's Billy. Billy Ford. I just searched it up right now. Oh no, Jesse is Willow and Xavier's friend who died in the first episode. Okay, anyways, yeah, this episode like is pretty iconic because it has like Spike and everything. And like Buffy's childhood crush is like trying to become a vampire, which is like because she's a vampire slayer, and like I think she sliced him in the end or something. So I think it's very good. It's very quintessential Buffy, so I'm gonna put in the Buffy core tier for now. Okay. The next episode is The Dark Age. Buffy and Angel race to save Miss Calendar's soul from a demon, and Giles is jeopardized by the discovery of a murder victim. So yeah, I think Miss Calendar is her soul is about to be sucked out from a demon, so Buffy and Angel have to save her and everything. And I don't really remember much about this episode. It just seems like one of those um filler episodes. So for that, I'm gonna put it in the maybe the disappointing tier. I don't know. Okay. And now we have What's My Line parts 1 and 2. So it says Buffy and Angel have a disastrous first date, while Spike plans to capture Angel in hopes of using him to cure an ailing Drusilla. Meanwhile, Buffy meets the new Slayer in town. So the new Slayer in town is Kendra, played by Bianca Lawson. And she is like, since Buffy died in the first season, like even though she came back to life, like they still needed a new Slayer. So Kendra arrives on the scene, and she and Buffy are very different because like Kendra's very by the book, but like Buffy just like goes with the flow kind of. And I love the addition of Kendra. And fun fact, I think Bianca Lawson was supposed to play Cordelia, but she had like scheduling conflict or something. So then the role went to Charisma Carpenter instead, who of course did an amazing job. But it would be cool to have seen Bianca Lawson as Cordelia, but I loved her as Kendra, and I wish that Joss, or he who must not be named, didn't like kill her off and everything. So I think I'm gonna put it in the maybe the superior tier because I just love like the introduction of Kendra and Kendra's storyline. Okay, so What's My Line part 2 is much kind of similar. It just says Buffy. It says Buffy joins forces with another Slayer in hopes of saving Angel from the clutches of Spike and Drusilla. Yeah, that it's like pretty much the same. So yeah, I would also put this in the superior tier. Okay, and then the next episode is Ted, which says Buffy doesn't trust her mother's new boyfriend, despite the fact that her friends think he is great. So basically, like I think Ted like turns out to be like evil and like a robot. Buffy's new love interest. And fun fact, he was played by John Ritter, who was a pretty popular actor in like the '60s. He was on the show Three's Company. No, it was the '70s. Sorry, the '70s and '80s. He was like the main character on that show. So if anyone was like born or grew up in like the '70s and '80s, you might like remember him. But if not, I guess you wouldn't. But yeah, besides that guest appearance by John Ritter, I think that the episode is pretty like mediocre, but it's kind of fun. So I'm not gonna have so bad it's good to you. Okay, the next episode is Bad Eggs. So it says Buffy and her friends find something peculiar about a school assignment on parenting, and two vampires come looking for Buffy. I think this is the one where like the eggs they have to raise eggs and then they turn out to be like evil like demon lizard weird things. So yeah, it's like kind of like that. It's kind of like a home ec thing they have to do, I think, and they turn out to be like these creepy creatures. So yeah, I think Bad Eggs would have to go in the flop era because it's pretty forgettable to me. Okay, so the next episode is Surprise, which is a two-parter with Innocence. So it says Spike and Drusilla gather the body parts of a dismembered demon to help them in their plan to get rid of Buffy. So this is the one with Buffy's birthday, I think. I remember they were all like surprising her on her birthday. And I think Buffy's birthday is canonically January 19th because that's like around the day that every Buffy birthday episode airs. So yeah, it's like I an iconic part of the two-parter, so I'm gonna have to put it in the amazing tier. And then the next episode is Innocence, which says Buffy must destroy Angel after he loses his soul and refers to his evil persona, Angelus. Angelus learns that Jenny is a gypsy. So yeah, this is like when Angel becomes Angelus. Once uh he and Buffy sleep together, and then like he becomes evil, which is like kind of a metaphor for how like when like couples sleep together, then like they might like treat each other differently or something. So the next episode is Faces, and the synopsis says Buffy protects a werewolf from a poacher. Willow becomes interested in Oz, much to Xander's dismay. So I think this is the episode where Oz becomes a werewolf because his cousins want, and like his cousin makes him a werewolf or something. And also Willow and Oz get together in this episode, which they're one of my favorite Buffyverse characters. Besides, minor spoiler, Willow and Tara, who is probably like my favorite Buffy first couple of all time. And I just like love this episode. Like, I know Buffy the Vampire Slayer is more about vampires, but I like how they got into the vampire lore. And like, Oz is known for his like signature red hair, but it's cool to see his dark hair in these earlier Oz episodes, in season 2. So, for that, I think I'm gonna put it in the B or Buffy core tier right now, but this could change. Okay, and then the next episode is Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered. Um, so that says, uh, when Cordelia breaks up with Xander, he enlists the help of Witch Amy to cast a spell on Cordelia to win her back. Unfortunately, the spell delivers some surprising results. So in this episode, instead of Cordelia falling back in love with Xander, then all the women in Sunnydale, except for Cordelia, fall in love with him, which is like really creepy. And there's like this one scene with Buffy where she's like acting like really weird, and I think it might be in the intro too. Kind of like the Xander and Buffy dancing scene is. And also like I love Buffy's hair in this episode. Though like her white top is so cute. I think it's one of my favorite Buffy outfits ever. And also this episode is memorable to me because I watched it on my birthday. So I always like associate it with my 16th birthday, which is like really interesting because that's like one of the things I did on my birthday. Besides, well, I think I had school that day. It was like a Thursday or something. I like went to dinner with my family, and then I came home, and then I watched this Buffy episode. So I'll always remember it because of that. And for that, I think I'm gonna put it in so bad it's good tier because it's very like cringe, but I think it's very quintessential Buffy. Like it's a fun episode to watch if you ignore the cringe. And I think just Cordelia is such a great comedic relief character. And she's literally my favorite character in the Buffyverse because she literally has quips for days, and she is like one of the funniest characters on that show, besides Buffy herself, of course. Okay, so the next episode is Passion, and it says Buffy believes her mother Joyce is Angel's next target after his terror campaign hits close to home. Meanwhile, Jenny attempts to repair her relationship with Giles. This is when like Jenny and Giles are together, and there's like a clip of Giles like smelling a rose, which is like so cute. I love their relationship, and it's so sad that spoiler alert. Well, you probably know this if you watch the show, but um, Jenny dies in the later episodes because Angel, who became Angelus, in Surprise Innocence, the two-parter, like kills her because he's like evil and stuff now. But it's like besides that, I think it's pretty like memorable, unmemorable. So I think I'm gonna put it in the disappointing tier. Okay, so the next episode is Flop is killed by death. Um, and already that title was weird because like how else could you be killed? I guess. But the synopsis says Buffy meets a boy who is experiencing nightmares from her past and present, and Cordelia is jealous of Xander's attempts to protect Buffy. So I don't really remember what happened in this episode. Like the last time I watched the Buffy series was like a year ago, but there's also that like really creepy guy who like can see Buffy's like nightmares, interiors of nightmares. And I don't know, like I just searched up pictures of him, and he's really creepy. So yeah, I think for that I'm gonna put it as a flopper because it's just like unmemorable. Yeah. Okay. Next episode is I Only Have Eyes for You, which is also a song by Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons, I believe. It's like an old 50s song. Um, Ghosts of a former teacher and student who were romantically involved with each other haunt the halls of Sunnydale High School by inhabiting the body. So in this episode, Buffy plays a student and Angel plays a teacher, and they're in some like weird role play thing where like they're like doomed to like repeat what these characters did. Like it was like a student and teacher like had an affair, and then I think the student kills the teacher before killing himself. So it's like a really tragic story, and Buffy and Angel like have to like are cursed to like recreate it in this episode. And I think it's a pretty memorable episode, but it's definitely not my favorite episode ever. So I'm gonna put it in the Buffy core tier for now. Next episode is Go Fish. It says Xander goes undercover as a swimmer to help Buffy net a sea monster that's been dispatching the members of the school's swim team one by one. This is the episode where Xander like joins the swim team, and like it's weird because the students in the swim team are like evil and stuff. Because they like turn into fish or something weird. And there's also like a creepy member of the swim team, Gage Petronsky, who like, oh yeah, he turns into a sea creature, and he like tries to hit on Buffy, and he's like super weird. Like this episode definitely weirded me out. Like I remember when Cordelia was talking to Xander who was in the water. And I think he was like becoming a sea creature or something. I think it's pretty memorable episode of Buffy, but again, not my fave. So I have to put it in the so bad it's good tier. It's also a Xander centric episode, if you couldn't tell. Okay, and then this next episode, which is a two-parter, and it's the last two episodes of Buffy season 2, is Becoming parts 1 and 2. So it says, while Angel attempts to unearth the demon who will annihilate the planet, Buffy reluctantly decides to destroy her former lover. Meanwhile, Willow unlocks a secret. So basically what happens in this episode is Buffy realizes she has to kill Angel, but like Willow is trying to bring him back to life with a spell. But then Xander like interrupts and like tells Buffy to like kick his ass instead of like telling her that Willow like came up with a spell to bring Angel back to life, which is like a very controversial Xander moment, and it's probably because like he had like a crush on her, especially in the earlier seasons of Buffy, like early season 1. And like it also involves Kendra, who Kendra's actually killed by Darla, I think. I think Darla like snaps her neck or something. So it's really sad to see a beloved character um, die so soon, and it's really sad because like we were just getting to know and love her. So yeah, I was really sad when Kendra died. Um, well, actually, I think it was Drusilla. Yeah, Drusilla was the one who killed her, not Darla. Sorry about that. Yeah, and then I'm gonna put it in superior tier because just that episode, it's just iconic, I think. And like there wouldn't be Buffy without Becoming parts 1 and 2. And then much like part 1, Becoming part 2 is like the same thing. I think I would also put it in the I guess in the amazing tier. So I just wanted to even it out more. That's why I'm not putting them like two together. Uh, so now I'm gonna go on to season 3, which is 22 episodes, I believe. This next episode, the first episode of season 3 says, far from home, Buffy takes on a demonic force threatening to destroy inner city kids living on the streets. So in this episode, I think Buffy becomes a waitress who goes by her middle name Anne, and she also meets Chanterelle in this episode, which I think that's like the coolest name ever. And like she becomes relevant early later on. She also goes by the name Anne Steele, and I'm pretty sure she appears in conversations with dead people or something, which is a later episode in like season 7 of Buffy. Oh, and she was also on Angel, and she appeared in the last episode, Not Fade Away. Okay. I think I'll have to put it in the Buffy cool tier because, like, I love her witch's outfit. I think it's so cute, and her little braids. I just really love the aesthetics of Buffy. Like, I love the core themes and the writing of the show and everything. But I feel like the show wouldn't be the show without the iconic outfits. Which I have to say, if you're not following Buffy the Outfit Center on Instagram, you definitely should if you're a fan of the fashion of the show. Because I love looking at her posts. I think they're just like amazing. And also, I think Vogue wrote an article about her, which I think is so cool. So if you'd like to see both of those things, I'll try to put it in the description down below. So yeah, okay. This next episode says Buffy faces a difficult return to Sunnydale, but must reunite with Xander and Willow to face a new threat from the undead. So there's like a new big bad in season 3, so she has to come back to face it. And like I love her pink dress in this episode. It's so cute. Like every single outfit on Buffy is great. Like I love the costume designer, Cynthia Bergstrom. I don't think she does costume design anymore, but like she literally made every single episode on Buffy so great. So shout out to her. Like Buffy would not be Buffy without the iconic outfits on the show. Okay. I think she's like a wellness coach or something now, just if you wanted to know. Okay. I think I have to put it in the so bad it's good tier because I don't know. It's just there, you know. Okay. The next episode is Faith, Hope, and Trick because we're introduced to 3 new characters: Faith LaHaye, Scott Hope, and Mr. Trick. So it says Buffy's effort to settle into normal life is dashed when she is challenged by an ancient villain and his sidekick. So the villain in question is Mr. Trick, I think. And yeah, and as I said before, we're also introduced to Faith, who is another vampire slayer um since Kendra died, then another slayer needed to take her place. So that's what Faith is for. Like Buffy's kind of like the good slayer, and Faith is kind of like the bad slayer. And we're also introduced to one of Buffy's brief love interests, Scott Hope, who only appears in season 3, I think. So I love this episode since it introduces us to Faith. So I might have to put it in this tier for now. Next episode is Beauty and the Beast. When a student is found mutilated in the wood, when a student is found mutilated in the woods, Buffy suspects Angel, who has returned after 100 years of internal torture. So I think Angel comes back in this episode. So like Buffy suspects him of like mutilating a student since um as Angelus he like wreaked havoc in the world, but as Angel like he's been having internal conflict with himself and so much like broodingness and angst, but he couldn't get it out, which is why Buffy thought that he might have killed a student. Yeah, and also I think there's this like really creepy plot line with like uh one of their friends, one of Scott Hope's friends, Pete and Debbie. I think they have like a weird thing going on. So yeah, like I think he like tries to kill her or something. It's so weird. I really don't remember. It's a pretty unmemorable episode to me. I'm gonna put it here. And also, I'm gonna put this here. Next episode is Homecoming. Uh, and it says Cordelia's apparent lock on the Homecoming title inspires Buffy to show her up, and Mr. Trick brings together a band of dangerous killers. So in this episode, Buffy and Red and Cordelia and Green run against each other for a homecoming queen, but in the end, neither of them wins, and just like a random problem. And I love this episode because uh, Buffy and Cordelia get to bond a lot during this episode, and although they're kind of polar opposites, I think they do have a lot in common, which I just love to see their dynamic. They're super cool, and it's sad that Cordy wasn't really in the main friend group for long before she moved to Angel. So I'm thinking to put it in. I don't know. It's just I love this episode, so I might have to move this down after Homecoming. Okay, so the next episode is Band Candy, and it says Buffy must take on Mr. Trick again when he causes all the adults in town to act like teenagers, and Buffy tries to keep Angel a secret. So this is when uh, Giles and Joyce revert back to their teenage selves after eating some aforementioned band candy, or it's like a type of chocolate in this episode. And they also smoke cigarettes and stuff, and they sleep together in this episode, which is a one-off though. They never have a relationship on the show or anything. It would have been cool if they tried to explore it though. And also the band candy in question was the milk bar milk chocolate, which turns them back into their teenage selves. So yeah, I think I'm gonna put band candy. I really liked the episode, so I don't know. I know how to put it here though. Because the gang are angry when they learn that Buffy secretly has been sheltering Angel, but they must put aside their differences to fight a demonic visitor. And this is a very faith-centric episode. I think Faith is in this episode a lot, which I love. I think Buffy and Faith fight or something. And I don't really remember what goes on, but I think there is like a season mini villain in this episode. So yeah, that's who they're trying to fight. The demonic visitors that they're trying to fight in this episode. Um, so I think I'm gonna put it here. Sorry, yeah, here just because I don't know, it's unmemorable to me. So yeah. And the next episode is Lover's Walk. And it says, broken-hearted Spike returns to Sunnydale, ready to take revenge on those he blames for his troubles, especially Angel. So Spike tries to get revenge on Angel in this episode. I think Spike asks Willow for a love spell or something. Yeah. It's a weird episode. I think this episode is where the love triangle between Buffy, Angel, and Spike starts. As you can see in this little icon, they're all pictures in this picture, and yeah, I think this is where all the love triangle stuff starts. I'm gonna put this in the superior tier because Buffy, Spike, and Angel is one of the most iconic love triangles, and this is literally the episode where it all began. That episode says Cordelia is granted a wish by an evil genie and moves to another reality where the Master rules with Xander and Willow by his side. So basically, I think Cordelia asked Anya in this episode, who's a new character, and also in this episode, Anya has her dark hair, which I think her blonde hair is the most iconic. But I just love seeing her brown hair from the earlier episodes. And this is Cordelia says I wish Buffy never came to Sunnydale. And then so they live in a world where Buffy never came to Sunnydale, and she lives in Cleveland or something, Cleveland, Ohio, instead. And Willow and Xander are vampires, and also I love Cordelia's blue dress, but everyone in the town is what are you wearing? The vampires are gonna come for you since you're wearing these bright colors. But I just love her silk dress. I think it's so cute, and literally what an iconic Buffy fashion moment. And for that, since Cordelia's one of my favorite characters. I'm gonna have to be a little biased, and put this in the superior tier. Next episode is Amends, which is a Christmas episode, I believe. It says Buffy hopes for a quiet Christmas, but Angel is troubled by visions of his past and the ghost of Jenny Calendar. So this is the episode where they're like, it's a Christmas episode, and Faith is there, and they're like all walking around in the snow, and it looks so magical. And I think there's a Jenny Calendar flashback in this episode because like he killed her in season 2, and like it's so pretty, and like I love the snow, and it's like the only Buffy episode, which is so sad. I think they should have had more Buffy Christmas episodes. I'm gonna put it in A tier, but it might move because it's not my fave ever, but just because it's a Christmas episode, I think it kind of deserves. The next episode, kind of going on with that Christmas theme, is Gingerbread. It says, after Joyce discovers 2 murdered children, she spearheads a town-wide witch hunt, which ultimately ensnares both Willow and Buffy. So this episode, like, I think Joyce joins a parent teacher night, or like she joins some organization called like I forget what it's called. It's called Mothers Opposed to the Occult. aka Moo, which is like pretty funny. I love that. And also Willow's mom is also in it. So yeah, I think this is a very interesting episode of Buffy where like I don't think Joyce fully believes that Buffy is a Slayer yet. It's not until later that she finally comes around. And also Buffy and Willow are burned at the stake in some kind of like witch hunt. Okay. I don't know. It's very quintessential Buffy, so I might play with Buffy. Okay. So the next episode is Helpless. After being sapped of her strength, Buffy's mettle is tested by a mighty vampire foe in a grim rite of passage on her 18th birthday. So I think this is the episode where like Buffy is like zapped of all her powers and becomes like helpless, and she doesn't have this supernatural strength anymore. So when she goes to fight vampires, she can't because like she lost all her Slayer powers. Because it's a ritual that every Slayer has to go through on their 18th birthday. So I think I'm gonna put this in. I don't know. Maybe it's so bad it's good here. Okay. And the next episode is the Zeppo, and it says Santa mixes with the wild crowd, raising the dead and consorting with fast women, while Buffy and the crew battle an all-female apocalyptic cult. So this is the one where like Xander becomes cool because I think Cordelia nicknamed him the Zeppo because he's pretty useless. And there's even a picture in my Buffy magazine, I think. I'm pretty sure I cut it out though. But if I could, I would show you guys. But I think I cut it out of the magazine because I was making collage, so it's too bad I can't show you guys. I think I'm gonna put it in this computer. I don't know. I don't really like this arrangement. I think I'm gonna move things around. So the next episode is Bad Girls, and it says while in sleep, Buffy takes a walk on the wild side while Giles is exasperated by the pompous new watcher. So this is an episode where Buffy and Faith go to the Bronze, and they just like have a wild time because like Faith chose Buffy a walk on the wild side, and also in one of her classes, Faith throws a heart on the window, and like breathes on it with her mouth, which I think is like one of the most iconic Buffy and Faith moments. Like they definitely had a lot of chemistry, and I think it would have been cool if they kind of show that on the show, like if they like dated or anything. I think that would be really cool to show their chemistry. Like they're kind of like two sides of the same coin in that way. I think I'm gonna move Gingerbread down. And also I think I'm gonna move the Zeppo because I don't know, it's a pretty memorable episode to me. I'm gonna put Helpless down. So like this. I think this is good. Okay. So the next episode is consequences. While Buffy is tormented by the consequences of Fate's heedless act, the mayor is playful about the prospect of imprisoning a Slayer for murder. So the mayor, in season 3 is the main, big bad. In season 3, Mayor Wilkins, and like Faith joins him because like Mayor Wilkins is kind of like a father figure to her, even though like he's kind of evil. Like she never really had any like parental figures in her life, so that's who. Although Mayor Wilkins is like evil and stuff, he still serves as like this father parental figure for Faith. So yeah, it's definitely interesting to see these sides of his personality because like villains also have like a complex personality, and it's really interesting to learn about like their origin story and how they came to be. So I'm gonna put it in, I don't know, it's a fate centric episode, so I'm not putting consequences. Oh yeah, this is after this is the episode where Buffy says like, "You killed the man," and Faith is like, "You don't get it. I don't care," or something like that. So yeah, that's also like in the trailer a lot. So it's definitely one of the most like memorable moments in season 3. Okay. The next episode is Doppelgangland. It says a vampire Willow from an alternative universe wreaks havoc in Confusion and Sunnydale, and Buffy tries to beat out Faith on the Watcher's couch. So in this episode, there's 2 Willows. That's the title. There's like the normal Willow, and there's also Vampire Willow. And for Buffy fans, you probably know this memorable quote. That's like when Willow's like, "I'm so evil and skanky," and I think I'm kind of gay. There's like foreshadowing to like Buffy like becoming, well, I don't know if becoming the right word, but like I don't know, like being gay in season 4 and dating Tara. So for that, it's definitely like a top tier Buffy episode. But like Vampire Willow's like behavior in this episode isn't like a cringy, but it's definitely like so iconic to the show's lore. So I think I'm gonna put it in this so bad. It's the next episode is Enemies. It says, Faith and the mayor conspire to rob Angel of his soul. Giles resumes his duty as Watcher when Cordelia distracts Wesley. So this is the episode where Buffy and Buffy and Faith have the iconic scene. I think it's the one where Faith is like, "See who ends up on top" or something. And they like fight and stuff, which is like this shows their sexual tension in Buffy. And I think they had a lot of like wasted potential, which is really sad because it would have been cool to see the relationship. And I think there's a mini plot where Cordelia and Wesley have like a romance, but the weird thing is that like on Angel, like they're not really like romantically involved. They're more like sibling or brother and sister energy, which I think is pretty weird that they put that on the show because like Cordelia firstly turned 18 and Wesley's like in his 30s or something. I forget. He's like middle age, well younger than Giles, but still like middle age. So yeah, it's definitely weird that they put that there. But I don't know, like this episode, like especially for Buffy Faith's sexual tension moment is iconic. So I don't know, I'll have to put it here, but I might move it. When Buffy acquires the ability to hear other people's thoughts, she uncovers a plot to massacre Sunnydale students, and the others race to find the killer. So this is an episode where like Buffy can hear everyone's thoughts. So she thinks that Jonathan is the one who is trying to like shoot at the school and stuff. But it turns out to be the lunch lady who tries to poison them with her food. This episode was pretty controversial at the time because they had to like move the filming till later. I think this was aired after the last episode because like this episode, like after the events of the Columbine mass shooting, they had to move it just to like to be more socially conscious. about like the message they were trying to send. Also speaking of school shootings, like it's pretty sad that there's like more and more school shootings every day, especially like if you live somewhere like in the US where like one of the most high profile shootings that went on was of course the Uvalde school shooting. It's really sad that like kids can't just like go to school and like know that they're gonna be safe. Instead, like there are people like bringing guns to schools and like shooting innocent students, which is like messed up. And also our gun rights is like literally giving more rights to guns than people, which is kind of messed up because like guns are not like objects like you could do without them, but like people like once you kill someone, their life's like over. You know, they can never get that back. So yeah. Anyways, I don't know. This episode was maybe not like the most socially conscious, and it was very of its time, so I might put in a flop there too. Okay. The next episode is choices. So it says, while Buffy's plans to leave Sunnydale and go away to college are crushed by Faith, Willow fields offers from prestigious colleges. So I think Willow got into both Harvard and Yale, and also Cordelia got into Columbia, but apparently she couldn't go because then there was a plot line where like her dad went to jail for like tax evasion or tax fraud or something, and then she became poor and she had to like work at the prom dress shop or something in the next episode, the prom. So I don't know. This is a pretty unmemorable episode to me. So I think I'm gonna move some things around. So the next episode is the prom, and it says, while Buffy and Angel face the hard facts about their future together, she is determined to stop a malevolent gatecrasher from ruining the prom. So the gatecrasher in question is the mayor who turns into like a weird lizard snake demon creature to try to like take over Sunnydale and stuff. And this is a really sad episode because Buffy and Angel dance their wild horses even though they know that they can't be together, and they break up in this episode. But then Angel still takes her to the prom. But then uh, this is like one of the last episodes of Buffy season 3 before Angel moves on to his spin-off TV show Angel. So because it's like gives this iconic moment of Buffy and Angel dancing to wild horses, I'll have to put it in the S superior tier. Okay. So the next episode is Graduation Day, Part 1. And it says, a lethal potion weakens Angel. Buffy faces off against Fate for what may be the last time, and the mayor prepares for his transformation to pure demon. So yeah, basically the mayor becomes a demon, ready to take over Sunnydale, and also the class of 99 graduates from Sunnydale High School. That's really cool. Oh, also, I forgot to say, in the prom, Jonathan gives Buffy the Class Protector Award, which is like one of the most iconic moments in the show, where she gets that parasol like umbrella like thing. Like I think that's so cool, and like yeah. And also I love the like chocolate fountain or whatever they have. And like this is like so cool because if you didn't know, Buffy and the Vampire Slayer, they host a Buffy prom every year, which is like they do the type of thing that is shown in the Buffy episode, the prom at the actual Sunnydale High School towards high school. I think they like rent out the place. You can like buy tickets and stuff to go see it, which I think is so cool. And like you can even meet Jenny and Kristen, and like they even have like little goodie bags and stuff. So I would definitely like to go to that in the future. Okay. Anyways, I think I'm gonna put graduation day in the top tier because it's just a top tier episode for me. And also Buffy and Faith with their leather jackets, they have like a kind of face off, and also Buffy has her iconic outfit with the black leather jacket and the red leather pants, and also they have their graduation caps, which are these like maroon color, and which is so cool because I haven't graduated from high school yet, but I hope that my graduation, it will probably pale in comparison to these two episodes of Buffy I hope it somehow lives up to the hype. So I think that's gonna be it for now. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and please stay tuned for part 2, which I will hopefully film soon. And yeah, now I've got to edit this video.